So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the MMF podcast. So today we have none other than Ms. Preeti Zende. She's the founder of the Apana Dhan Financial Services, which is a SEBI registered investment advisor firm. Along with that, she's an experienced investment advisor and a financial planner who has demonstrated a history of working in the financial services industry. She has worked into multiple top-notch firms. Just to name a few, like the Reliance Nippon Life Insurance and the ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company. She offers complete financial solutions for all the financial worries and helps the clients plan their finances better and enable them to take a well-informed financial decision. She's highly skilled into risk management, retirement planning, personal finance, and wealth management activities. She also has an associate degree focused on insurance from the Insurance Institute of India and a postgraduate diploma in finance. You might have also seen her on various social media platforms advising people on personal finance and financial literacy. It's a great honor to have you here, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me. How are you?
All good, all good. How are
Yeah,
you? How is life? How are things going on?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. So without wasting any time, like for the audience, like we'll be touching base a couple of questions, which of course both our audience wants to know, right? General questions about personal finance, about financial literacy, about portfolio management, stock markets, which many young guys in the market, especially and also those who have started their journey into finance, who are seasoned, experienced professionals want to know. Because what basically happens now, usually क्या होता है, sometimes we go ahead so much in the field of finance and stock markets and portfolio management, we tend to forget the basic crux or the basic raw material or the basic premise. और क्या बोलते हैं ना, we forget our roots from where we start and what we need to know. Every day nowadays, people are learning about advanced financial concepts. They want to know valuations. They want to know super finance, financial topics, fixed income, alternatives, equities, XYZ. But one thing which a lot of people are lacking in the market is to know the very basic things about personal finance, about financial literacy, because they form the base every time for everybody, right? So, very first question I will ask you as you're starting our podcast, as we're starting our online interaction and talks, just with an 18-year-old guy, right? An 18-year-old guy who is starting his journey, like who has become legal to invest into stock markets, at least in his own name, like no guardian is required now, right? So
True.
how an 18-year-old guy can start investing into stock markets, can start his journey towards investing into equities?
Yeah.
Because we have seen that after the COVID-19 pandemic, early 2022 and all, many of the people who entered the markets have just seen the bull run. They might just have seen this October 2024 correction till date, but that wasn't a crash. It was just a healthy correction for large cap, mid caps, and small caps. But they haven't seen the COVID-19 crash clearly. They have seen but not witnessed their investments go down. They haven't seen the 2008 crisis. They haven't seen the 2000 dot-com bubble, the Great Depression, the IFL crisis, right? But so how does an 18-year fresh newbie should start his journey, plan his investments into stock markets?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, one should understand if a person is starting his investment journey as 18 itself is a big achievement, right? Because most of the people, they just think that the investment is should be done at a later age. Whenever they start earning, the first priority should be given for buying different things, spending a lot of money. So that's what I'm saying. So if a person really thinks of investing his money when he's 18 or 20, it's a really half battle already done or already won. But one important thing that a young guy should actually understand or should keep in mind that investment is a long-term phenomenon, right? It's not like that you are putting money something and in the say couple of months your money is going to get doubled. Okay, so you should know that if you really want to have a long-term sustainable wealth creation done, right? So you have to do it continuously. You have to do it whatever is the situation of the market. You have to do it very vigilantly, right? You should know that what is your priority in life and what you really want to achieve. Whether it is just a couple of bucks you really want to have, or you want to have a great corpus which can take care not of only you but the generations to come, right? And the share market, or we can say the equity asset class, is having that kind of potential which you can build the generational wealth. Only thing is that you should know that it's a long term process, right? When you are starting your journey at 18, it should not be ended in a couple of years, right? Why I'm saying so? Because equity market, if you are looking at just for making some money, or with a greed, if you are coming over there, right? So it may happen that you get a very bad experience and you may think that, oh, it is not my cup of tea and I really don't want to have it. So going forward, you may be not in the market or not investing in the proper way, and that will actually actually, it means we can say that it's cutting your ability to create a long term wealth, right? So that is a very important message I really want to give all youngsters, that make sure that here you are going to stay for a longer period of time, not for just a shorter or having a short term view. Now, what they really want to understand is that the knowledge is the very important thing when you are investing in equity asset class. You cannot copy paste from others' portfolio, right? You cannot copy paste even what expert is saying. You cannot copy paste what your colleagues or your friend or any other person is doing. First, understand how the market works. It's very important you to understand it. You said very correctly that people, when they entered in the market 4 to 5 years back, they were just seeing the market is going, right? So we all must have seen that reel, right? That couple, they were talking about the equity and they're saying how we should make a money. He said that I buy it, then it is went up, 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 I sell it, then again I buy it, is went up, up, and I sell it. It's not going to happen over here, right? So it is lot of ups and downs happening in the market. So first understand how the equity market works, right? First of all, what is stock, right? What is mutual funds? Even the debt asset class, that you should know what is bonds, right? What are the things in what is called commodity? All these things you should understand. You should get the proper knowledge, and knowledge doesn't mean that you are going with any person who is just giving a social media knowledge, right? You have to read good books, right? You have to see that who are the person who are authorized to give the knowledge, right? Based on that, then collect the knowledge, understand this concept fully, and then see whether it is really matching with the risk taking ability, or my even my say basic kind of nature, right? Because sometimes people are by nature are way different than how the market is performing, right? Because see, you want to have a money to give you a peace of mind. The investment should not give you a sleepless night. And why it is the sleepless nights and all these stuffs are there? Because you don't understand what is the offering and what you really want, right? So that is the first thing you just need to see. And if you see that, okay, even if it is right now I'm not in a position to have a kind of nature or kind of understanding of the market, but still you want to be there, then start slow, start short, or start with a small amount, because that's very important. Whenever you don't know, it means we always say that, right? When you want to go for a swimming, you don't know what is the depth of that, right? So what you do, you just be there, just check the things, right? You just go slow and then see that, okay, whether I am in a able to position or have a proper swimming in the ponds or not, right? So the similar thing happens in the share market. So once you get the knowledge, you know that, okay, this is what I want to do. Then going forward, what you need to do is that start with a smaller amount. First, see how the market behaves, right? So start investing little bit of money, right? Start investing in a proper good blue chip stocks, right? Start investing in a large cap stock, even start investing in simple index fund, right? So it will give you a thing that, okay, if I'm starting investing, I'm holding it for at least a year, I will see how the market is behaving, right? Sometimes it happens that we have to have a long bull run, long bear run, right? Previously COVID market. Now it may happen that because people are more say savvy, right? They know how they are going to be in the market. So in that case, we may see a smaller period of bull run or bear run, right? So these things are going to be there. So even in a year's time, you may sense that, okay, the market is going down, market is going up, there is some volatility, or there is even a sideline market, right? Sideline market means you are not getting any kind of return out of that, even when you are investing in couple of years. So these are the phenomenons which are there. So first, learn the things, start slow. Also see that how why you want to invest in the share market, right? So whether, as I said, whether it's just for a quick money or if you want to invest it for long duration of time. So analyzing your financial goals and accordingly choosing the financial products are very important. So equity market or investing in stock or mutual fund should only be associated or should be mapped with long-term financial goals. You cannot do so that, oh, I want to go for a vacation, and for that, if the market is giving me good returns, I will put the money, take out the money and go for. Or even I buy a iPhone, for that you are putting money in the share market or doing trading. It's really a wrong thing, right? Don't do so. So whatever, whenever the goal is 7 years away or at least 5 plus years away, normally to we say that 7 plus year away, if the goal is there, then only you have to invest in the equity asset class. But for an 18-year-old, definitely he can start his investment journey. Make sure you are having a proper knowledge. You are starting slow. You are there, whatever be the market condition, and you are doing it regularly. You are also reviewing it, checking the things, because this is a great time to learn mistakes. Okay, get the experience from the mistake. So going forward, when you have a good income as well as when you have a financial responsibility, you are not taking any blind calls.
Very well covered, very well covered. And I guess all the 18-year newbies or all the people who are starting their journey in markets, right? So they will pay as a huge weightage to this point that understanding the very basic is too crucial. We need to understand different asset classes, like to all my audience who shall be watching this, right? You need to know what is equity, what is fixed income, what is alternatives, what are markets, where to go for, when to go for, how much to invest. And ultimately listening to those guys, as she very well covered, who are authorized to do so. Because in the previous months, we also saw many YouTubers got slammed, right? They were non-registered. They used to give certain advice, buy the stock. Also, we see many people till date on Telegram and different social media platforms giving that stock advice. Okay, join your Telegram groups, buy the stock, will make you rich. So understanding the asset classes, how they react, also learning from history. So history might not always indicate the future performance, but learning from history, right? Because I believe it is again that gets history is something which tends to get repeated. It tends to get entered through some another gate, right? The form is different. The way the market reacts is different, but some points, some basics tend to remain the same. Again, that is very crucial, right? So understand the basics, guys. Understand what is equity, where you want to invest, and have a long-term horizon. Initially, to take the lesser risk in the market, the first thing is you need to understand the market first. And to understand the market first, you need to take less risk, as you also told clearly, going for a large cap fund, a blue chip large cap fund, a Nifty 50 fund, or a Sensex index fund. So all these funds can be of a great priority to you until you learn the markets and can think of going into direct stocks or small caps or mid caps, right? And have a long-term horizon. It's not just about the restlessness, right, Preeti? Because we see people in the market who just want to come in the market, they see the returns of somebody else and they want to make that alpha, that 12% return, 15% return over 1 month or 2 months. And if the market goes down in 2 months or 3 months, they say, yaar, market humko return de nahi raha. They sell off their stocks and go away from the market. And those who stay consistent for 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years, they have made that X returns in the market. Those are the bulls, guys. Those are the big bulls as we talk in the market. So patience is the key, right? And youth mein aajkal patience nahi hai. That's, to be very honest, right? So that is the thing. So very well covered. So now this 18-year guy has completed his studies education, BBA, BCom, MBA, CF. इसको जो करना था उसने कर लिया. Now this person has become 23, 24 years of age. He enters into a job, his first job, right? So what basically happens when someone enters into his first job, the first thing that he says is, salary आने से पहले तो iPhone आ जाता है,
जी.
right? They go on EMIs, right? They do not know how much fixed pay will come to their account.
True.
At that point of time, they also don't know the difference between CTC and fixed pay. right? एक number के basis पे they will go for EMIs, they will buy a small car, they will buy some luxury watches, they will buy some luxury phone, right? But one thing that they tend to forget is, apart from investments, the very basic thing, insurance.
True.
Insurance बोलते हैं ना that the younger you are, you take the insurance, your premium would be less because you're less prone to diseases, right? But they forget that because insurance is a basic thing. Nowadays in the market, we see ULIP, we see whole life insurance, money back guarantee, but we all know that term insurance is the key,
True.
right? So how important is insurance? Why we should take it as a young bee, right? So that's my thing. Why insurance?
Sure. See, in financial planning process, right? So investments and insurance, they both are main pillars of this financial planning process, right? Your whole financial planning is been built on these two pillars. But most probably we think that financial planning means investment. Okay, whenever we say that, okay, I'm doing my financial planning, means they ask that where I should invest, right? But they never ever ask whether my second pillar is as strong as the investment, because the if the pillar is not strong, or even if the pillar is not there, whatever eventuality happens or any risk happens or any unfortunate thing happens in your life, right, is going to eat up all your investments. So it's normally saying that even before starting investment, you should have adequate insurances. And it's not about the life insurance. There are different types of insurances one should have in their life, because they all are important, right? So when we are talking about insurance, first understand what is insurance. So insurance is the mechanism which is going to replace, right, or which is going to hedge the risk which you may be having going forward in life, right? So as far as life insurance is concerned, when we talk about the life insurance, what does it do? The life insurance is the mechanism which is meant to replace your money when you are not around, right? Or replace your income when you are not around. I am saying so your income, that the main important thing that you should be earning, right? First thing, that person should be a earning person, right? Secondly, if he's not around, someone is getting affected out of that, right? So it means you have to have a financially dependent on you, right? Because there are a number of misconceptions are there in people's mind. They think that insurance is also an insurance is also an investment product, but it's not like that. Insurance is just a mechanism to replace your income when you are not around. So for that, first one, you should be a earning person. Secondly, you should have a financially dependent. So people sometimes take some policies on their kids name, right, or child name. So actually this is not a proper way. For child education or something, you can invest in mutual funds, right? Because the insurance is a process which makes you mandatory to invest X amount. For that, people think that, okay, if I take a insurance on my child name, at least I am doing investment. But for that, there are other products available, right? So it's very important that when you're talking about life insurance, these two things are pretty important for you to know. Secondly, it's also important to know that what should be the tenure of the insurance, right? People take the insurances or life insurances up to 85 or something like that. See, this is not a proper way, because anyway we are going to die someday, right? But the insurance is there if the premature death happens. For that, the insurance is important. So if I'm earning till 60, then I'm having my income source till 60, right? So up to that, I need the insurance. If I'm able to achieve the similar kind of investment done, so my net worth, for example, if I have a 1 CR insurance, but I'm also having a 1 CR net worth, in that case, insurance is not needed, right? One should understand. Secondly, if all my financial dependents are on their own when I'm in 55 or 60 or maybe or 58, in that case, even if you have a cover up to 65, it is of no use, because nobody is dependent on you, right? But these are the simple fundas people don't understand it. So the thumb rule is that first, a person who is a young guy, right, he should see that whether somebody is dependent on me, right? It may happen that when you are 23 or 24 years old, your parents may be still earning, right? As you are into bachelorhood, so there is the spouse or kids are not there, right? So in that case, you sense these things, that whether my parents are their own, do I need to provide something to them? Or they say that, अरे बेटा मैं तुम्हारा खर्चा कर लूंगा, तुम अपने पैसे संभाल के रखो, because we are blessed to be in such situation right now, right? कि हमारे पेरेंट्स ही इतने फाइनेंशियली savvy होते हैं, या they are having a good wealth by their side, that they say that whatever you are earning, just save it, right? So in that case, definitely a young guy who is just 23-year-old, he can postpone it till his marriage, right? Because see, when you are paying something, so that is the premium, right? So that premium, if it is not needed, you can invest that. So every penny is having a opportunity cost. So make sure that first analyze whether you really want to, is there is somebody to take care of. If it is not, you can postpone it couple of years. So when you are now 26 and people are searching, maybe the parents are now there for your marriage. So in that case, it may also happen that your spouse is also working, right? So technically, she is also not dependent on you, right? So in that case, you can even sense that whether you are earning in a similar fashion. So the salary and everything is similar. She's totally not dependent on you. So that phase can also be extended by a year till you start your own family. But it may happen that all these things will lead to a person to be in their 30s. So in that case, better to get your insurance before 30, right? Because if you are postponing your marriage, or if you are postponing having a kids, but it may happen that due to the lifestyle diseases, you may not be in a position to get a good cover going forward. So the thumb rule can be that when you are getting married, you should have a proper term insurance if your parents are not dependent. If your parents are dependent, sometimes it happens that the parents are old, they are not in a position to run the house. So in that case, even a 23-24 year guy need to have a term insurance, right? So analyzing a situation, personal situation, is very important. So when we talk about life insurance, the term insurance is the only insurance one should be thinking of, right? You should not go with a ULIP, you should not go with any traditional plans, whole life plan, or any other plans, because they are the combination of insurance and investment. So have a pure category, that okay, for investment I will be investing in financial products, and for insurance I will be buying only life insurance. So this is only for the making sure that I'm covering my life. Along with that, you also have to have a health insurance, right? So if a healthy person, right, if he says that the similar one, if your parents are dependent on them, he should get the health insurance from them as well, and he should have the health insurance for himself as well. Don't club it, right? Because you have to have a separate policy for yourself, you have to have a separate policy for your parents. And second is, the third important is the accident benefit policy. That is also important because it takes care about the disability. So something happens due to accident, disability cover will be there in this policy, which will take care of any loss of income permanently or temporary. So all these three important insurances are very important for a person to go with it. Only thing is that analyze your situation and decide when to take it. But the sooner you take it, definitely the premium will be lesser. And secondly, as you are fit and fine, there won't be any loading, there won't be any problem of getting whatever insurance amount you need, right, irrespective of your income.
Very well covered. Very well covered. So understanding the different situations is important. As per different situations, the quantum of insurance and timing of insurance might differ, right? And also, as she clearly said, term insurance is the critical thing that you have to take. And you need to separate your insurance from investments, because these products like you live, your money bag, your like whole life, they tend to segregate your premium towards life insurance and some premium towards investment. And you aren't able to utilize the full benefits in both the cases, right? So having a bifurcation between investments and insurance is too critical. Great point covered. So now this person has taken his insurance, right? Assumingly, like he took the insurance depending upon the conditions, right? Now he wants to make investments. And like whenever we talk about investments, we talk about risk and return factor.
Sure.
Now, this component of risk and return factor might differ from person to person, right? Book says something else, but the practical scenario or the condition that might be on that particular person might be different, right? Basis upon the quantum of investments, type of investments, sustainability, and how much he can invest into. So this person, right? Let's assume like in both the scenarios, he might be having some family responsibilities. And on the other hand, he might not be having some family responsibilities, right? In both the scenarios, how he should manage his risk and return into investments.
Yes. So see, when we are talking about the investment, right, the risk profiling is a very crucial point most of the people actually
Correct.
miss, right? When you talk about investment or whenever you want to invest somewhere, right, you should see that what is your risk taking ability. So risk profiling is a process where you will define that, okay, if I'm investing into that particular financial product, is it matching with the nature of mine, or whether it is matching with the risk taking ability of mine, right? So there are a lot of questionnaires available online, or we do the risk taking ability process, or doing the risk profiling of my clients, because that is mandatory by SEBI as well, right? And that should be communicated to the client, and we should get the confirmation from the client that, okay, I'm okay with this asset allocation, or this is what is my risk taking ability. Now, on a mota moti phase, that जैसे आपने कहा कि it is very important to first analyze in which situation you are into. For example, let's talk about a person who is 24 to 25-year old, right? So this guy now wants to start investment. So in that case, thumb rule says that when you are young, you can take more risk, right? And as your age increases, your risk taking ability decreases. But this is a thumb rule, right? You cannot have this generalized statement applicable to each and every guy, right? Because see, say Mr. Ajay is a person, and second his friend is say Vijay. Okay, so Ajay is coming from a very humble background, right? His parents are just say farmers, or they may be coming from a low middle class. So in that case, his dad has taken a lot of loans to run the houses for his education, or all other stuff, right? Even for taking care of his business or farming, these things, and they are not earning enough. So when he starts earning, right, his family responsibility directly comes on his, right? So in that case, he needs to pay back the loans which his dad is having, right? Secondly, he need to provide them for their day-to-day activity. He also needs to make sure that going forward he is also investing for his future, right? And he also needs to see that, okay, now as my parents have done a lot of things for me, I really want to give them the good life going forward, right? So in that way, he is into this situation. Now let's talk about Vijay, right? His parents are doing pretty well. They are into government services. They have their own house, right? And as I said, पहले जब हमने बात किया था कि they are into that condition कि बच्चे अभी तुम्हारा बस इनकम कमाओ, जो भी खर्चा है जो भी है वो हम देखेंगे, right? So he's a blessed guy in that way. So now they both have started, wants to start their investment journey. So both are of the same age. So do you think that their risk taking ability will be the same? In my case, it is not, right? Because in Ajay case, he's having a responsibility, right? So he should not be in a position to take undue risk in his portfolio, because unless and until he's having adequate emergency fund, or he's having a very good cash flow, that on that basis he can take some risk. If it is not so, then he should see that, okay, what should be my allocation? So even if I'm that person is a younger guy, right? But his risk taking ability will be different than the Vijay, because Vijay is having a family background, right? Backing everything. So even if some calls are here and there is no direct impact on his overall responsibility towards family, right? So in that case, it's very important for you to assess that from which background you are into, what is the liability you're carrying, how much cash flow or how much earning you are into. So for example, Vijay is earning say 40,000 rupees per month, and sorry, Ajay is earning 40,000 rupees per month, and Vijay is having 1 lakh of rupees. So in that case, the income is also differs, right? So out of that, how much risk you are going to take? So that is the thumb rule. So when we are talking about the risk taking ability, the generalized things cannot be applied. Secondly, some people say that when you are into 50s, right, you have to decrease your equity allocation. That's true as per the generalized statement. But I have so many clients that they have created so much wealth that they may not need that much wealth in their lifetime, right? So they really want to give something to the next generation. So from that side, they don't need to come out from the equity. For example, if they say that, okay, 50% of corpus is what I need for taking care of up to say even for 100 years of mine, right? So I will make sure that I am following the asset allocation for that 50% corpus, and the 50% I will definitely invest in the asset class which can give me a very good return going forward, right? So in that case, the asset allocation may not be the similar one which a person of his 50 age, now nearing to retirement, having a lot of financial responsibility, not having an adequate corpus by their side, right? So in that case, definitely he cannot bet on equity going forward in the portfolio. So there are definitely general rules available which can be giving us the guidance, but you have to analyze your own situation. And on that basis, then take call. Simply, if my colleague is taking exposure into X and YZ stock or XYZ financial instrument, is this going to be applicable to me or not? It's your job to do. You cannot blame others, right? Unless and until you analyze your risk, it's your responsibility of each and every investment which you do.
Yeah, again, risk profiling is very crucial. And different people might have different situations. And on the basis of that, the risk premises might be different, right? Also, I've seen people like who might be earning around a lakh per month. And on the other side, a person who might be earning a 30,000-40,000 rupees per month. The person who's earning that 30 to 40K is financially secure, be it from the parent side, right? He's able to make his investments into risky assets and compound the return and or save more per se. But a person who's earning like 1 lakh per month, he might be having so many financial responsibilities that more than 70% of the salaries goes off in loans or to fulfill like other kind of financial commitments, right? So the person who's having a 30-40K is able to make more, at least for a near to medium term, as compared to a person earning like 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs. Right now, we can debate upon different kinds of the things that he purchases and all. Again, that's out of purview. But the thing is that, yeah, again, the risk profiling is important, and we need to understand, right, that how much risk a person can take depending upon different scenarios, and how he can try to mitigate risk by taking into account all the family situations, personal conditions, and liabilities he has. Perfectly agreeing with you. So now this guy is earning salary, right? He has planned his insurance. He's sorted. He has life insurance, health insurance. He has planned his investments also, like how much he has to go for into markets, being a risk-taking investor per se, or a non-risking one. So, like depending upon the scenarios or the financial conditions he's into. Now, the financial year is coming to close, hypothetically. Yeah, and of course it is, right? So
Yeah.
he wants to plan his tax planning करनी है. And we see when the financial year is coming to a closer, especially March 15, March 20th के आसपास, then people go and they think for all those means to save their tax planning, ELSS, insurance ले लिया, ये ले लिया, वो ले लिया, right? All these kinds of things they tend to go for. But tax planning, again, like everyone knows, it's important. But here we want to ask, is tax planning or will tax planning help a person who has crossed a sufficient bracket of salary? Because like usually we say like if you're earning up to like 12 lakh, 13 lakh, 14 lakh, at that point of time, the tax planning is good. But at a point of time, you cross a threshold, right? Then tax planning doesn't work for you so much. So is
Mhm.
that really true?
So first, kindly understand that tax planning is a part of financial planning, right?
Correct.
But people think that when they do the tax planning, उनका financial planning हो गया. ऐसे नहीं होता है, right? So that is the first myth one should know. Second, tax planning अगर करना है तो don't do in the month of March, right? It should start from the month of April itself. राइट जब फाइनेंशियल ईयर स्टार्ट होता है, जैसे कि इस साल अभी जब आप अप्रैल 2025 में जाओगे तो 25-26 के लिए जो आपको टैक्स प्लानिंग करनी है तभी से स्टार्ट करो, राइट? तो ये सेकंड इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग हो गया. तीसरा इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग है कि टैक्स प्लानिंग के लिए अभी जो सिनेरियो है इन द कपल ऑफ इयर्स, राइट? सो वी आर इनटू टू टैक्स ब्रैकेट, टू टैक्स regime, right? So there is a old tax regime, there is a new tax regime, right? So as you see that the government is pushing the new tax regime, right, where they really want to have the clarity in taxpayers mind that for that saving some taxes you really don't need to do any investment. Earn, pay taxes, do whatever you want to do, whether you want to consume that amount or whether you want to invest, that is up to you, राइट? सो एक ये बात मैं मजे से कहती हूँ कि गवर्नमेंट को लगता है कि हम सब होशियार है, right? We should know that what we want to do about our money, right? So when they are giving you a voting power, when you are in when you attain your majority, you should know how to handle your money, and that's really a good thing, right? So unless and until you give given the responsibility, you won't learn that what are the things I need to do. So simply tax planning करनी है। ये अभी जो बात हो ही रही है ना, अभी ये नेक्स्ट ईयर से हम कह सकते हैं ये इररिलेवेंट जैसा हो गया है, राइट? बिकॉज देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस बिटवीन द एडवांटेजेस वन कैन हैव व्हेन दे गो विथ अ न्यू टैक्स रिजिम, राइट? सो 12 लाख तक का जो तो आपका इनकम है इज टोटली टैक्स फ्री, राइट? सो मोस्ट अर्निंग पीपल और द पॉडकास्ट लिसनर, इफ दे आर इनटू younger age bracket, so they may be sensing that it is very relatable to them, right? So if you are earning up to 12 lakhs rupees, you don't need to worry about that. आफ्टर दैट ऑल्सो मार्जिनल टैक्स विल बी एप्लीकेबल, राइट? ऐसे नहीं है, लोगों को लगता है कि 12 लाख से 1 रुपया मेरा ज्यादा हो गया तो मुझे बहुत ज्यादा टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा। इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट, द मार्जिनल टैक्स विल कम इन टू द पिक्चर, राइट? सो इसके बारे में आप ढूंढ सकते हो, बहुत सारी वीडियोस है, या इसके बारे में हम बाद में कभी भी एक पॉडकास्ट कर सकते हैं। सो मार्जिनल टैक्स से भी आपका बहुत सारा टैक्स बचेगा, राइट? सो फर्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज दैट यू रियली नीड टू सी that which tax regime is good for you, right? Unless and until you have a home loan, unless and until you are getting a very big chunk of HRA, that is also you are optimizing it, right? Unless and until there are other deductions up to more than 3.5 lakhs, then new tax regime is very lucrative. There you just need to make sure that you are paying the taxes, right? If it is applicable to you, and use that money. सो इफ फॉर एग्जाम्पल चलो समझो कोई कह रहा है कि नो आई रियली वॉन्ट टू बी नो टैक्स regime only, right? So what are the sections under which he or she can save the taxes? So first important section होता है हमारा ATC, right? So in that case most probably the mis-selling happens this section, right? Why I'm saying so? Because when you are into hurry, right, तो क्या कर सकते हैं, that you may be ending up buying the all the traditional policies or ULIPs where you may be having a premium of 1.5 lakhs, because this is very easy to do, right? People are there to come back to you, right? They are there to fill the form. You just need to give KYC and your say check, and everything will be done. So that is the first mis-selling happening. So as I said कि पहले ही हमने इंश्योरेंस में बोला था कि term insurance is what you needed, right? You don't need all these stuffs. So if you are going with buying the insurance product, kindly don't do so, right? अभी तो 4 ही दिन बचे हैं, but it is just for people to understand. Secondly, some people what they do that they put everything into the PPF, right? So if they say that अरे PPF है उसमें नहीं डाला था, चलो 1.5 लाख पूरा वहां डाल दे, that is also not a good strategy. Why I'm saying so? Because how much you need to fund to the debt product depends upon your asset allocation, right? It doesn't mean that you have to fully funded that particular asset class. Similarly, people may be going with ELSS. Those are knowing this product, right? Or it is risk लेने की क्षमता है, तो in that also they put everything into 1.5 lakhs. This is also not good strategy, because you have to see, right, that if you are selecting a particular product under ATC, how much is the amount you need to put for that. That's what I'm saying. If it is not a the tax planning is not a part of financial planning, you end up doing these mistakes, right? You end up buying wrong product, you end up fulfilling that particular product, and the product is good, right, but you are putting more money than required, right? You don't do the kind of go for ALSS as well, go for a PPF as well, go for a term insurance as well, and everything clubbing can also be there for under ATC. But people don't do that. Why? Because they are in hurry, right? So that's why when you start your financial planning or tax planning from the start of the year itself, you will have a lot of time to think. Second is the ATD, जहाँ पे आपको insurance premium ले सकते हैं, right? So if you are paying some premium, that can be claimed under ATC. ATD. Similarly, for your parents, if they are 60 plus years, so senior citizen के लिए भी अलग premium up to 50,000 you can claim that. और फिर आता है NPS, right? So NPS is also offers 50,000 rupees deduction under ATCCD, right? यही NPS can also be a part of your ATC, but लोगों को लगता है कि वो different है, ऐसा नहीं है. With ATC and with ATCCD, you can put 2 lakhs of rupees in NPS. Again, you have to see कि 2 लाख डाल सकते तो 2 लाख का पूरा डालने की जरूरत है कि नहीं. That will be depend upon the asset allocation you are following. And even the corporate NPS is also very good product or very good system which can save you a lot of taxes. And corporate NPS also saves taxes in new tax regime, right? So you just need to see whether such facilities are available from your employer, which tax regime you are going to choose, and based on that, do your tax planning.
Greatly covered. So, guys, tax planning is again very crucial, right? You need to understand about different sections, about different slabs, about the old tax regime, the new tax regime, bifurcations, right? And nowadays we have various online calculators as well, right? Who tend to tell us free of cost, right? And how much is your taxable income, right? But taking into account the first method, like the old tax regime or the new tax regime. So basis on both these methods, you tend to get your tax, right? And of course, we have people like you in the market who help people plan their personal finances, via it is insurance, be it via tax planning, retirement planning, investments, right? So it is important to hear the right person in the market. It's important to understand these different things because, as told by her clearly, tax planning is not different from financial planning. It's a part of financial planning. All these things as we talked about, right? So a couple of more questions, right? Just to take into account the limited time that we have. Now this person is thinking for retirement, right? So usually we know the young bees don't think about retirement, right? So whatever amount of money they are investing into stock markets, it might be to buy a kind of a luxury car, right? Buying a home is a good one if someone is having that kind of reasoning or rationing to like invest into markets after 20 years, like he's saving that money, like he's saving that corpus to buy a home. Again, that is justified, right? But all those kinds of luxury things, if he's aiming for, right, out of that thing, again, that might not be clearly appropriate, right? Because he has to see different scenarios, different conditions, whether that investment that he's making for that particular goal, is that goal realistic, achievable, or that is something if he really wants or not, right? So that is why, apart from all these things, I believe that retirement planning is something which is very crucial. And once we're closer to retirement, your estate planning is also very important, right? So if I talk about myself, I started to plan for my retirement at the age of 18. Started to put into money into stock markets, into mutual funds. I started from mutual funds like index funds and ETFs as we discussed, right? So again, that corpus remains intact, right? If anything happens, we need not pour out anything. We need not sell off that thing in the market, be it stocks, be it mutual funds. Anything happens, it is intact. The first salary comes into place. The first money will go towards investments and insurance. That's it. And after that, if something is left, then towards different things, towards essentials, towards buying different things, to paying off rent or something else, right? So how crucial is this concept of retirement planning and estate planning? Why is it so important?
Yes. So see, your retirement planning should start from the month you started earning, right? So from your first paycheck. So that is the thumb rule. If everyone follows, right, they will have a great time to build their retirement corpus, right? The sooner you start, the investment amount which is needed to be invested is very small because it is going to have the compounding effect on your investment. And that's why you just need to invest a smaller amount when you are starting your investment, and if you have a longer period of time. So for example, if a person who is a 23 or 24 years old, right, and he really wants to have a financial freedom, say after 20 years or 25 years, so he will have that 25 years of investment horizon to multiply his wealth. But unless and until he start earlier, he may not be having that much horizon. So every 5 years, if you are postponing your investment towards retirement planning, will make a huge difference with on the amount which you need to invest, right? So make sure that your investments for the retirement goal starts from the first paycheck, right? Now, when we talk about the retirement, what is the important thing you need to keep in mind, right? If a person who is just 23 year, he may not having a, he may not relate to that concept, right? At the age of 55 or something, what I will be doing, right? But make sure that this time also will be there. ये कभी ना कभी तो होने वाला है, right? So the earlier you anticipate the things, right, it may not be the perfect one. I can even understand, because life तो change होता ही रहता है. But एक जस्ट सिनेरियो अगर आपने देखा कि व्हेन आई विल बी इन माय 50s और व्हेन आई विल बी 55 ईयर ओल्ड, इवन 60 years old, what would be my financial responsibility, what would be the things I must have achieved in life, right? What are the things I may be lacking? So in that case, सबसे पहले देखना होगा कि what could be the monthly withdrawal I may be aiming at, right? बहुत बार एंटिसिपेट करना मुश्किल होता है. आप सिंपली एंटिसिपेट करो कि मॉम डैड को कितना लग रहा है, राइट? और उसमें थोड़ा सा आपका इन्फ्लेशन, आपका सॉरी लाइफस्टाइल का एक अलग सा कंपाउंड ऐड कर दो, राइट? टू रन अ हाउस, इफ योर मॉम एंड डैड विथ अ मॉडरेट डिसेंट लिविंग, फॉर एग्जाम्पल नीड्स से 75,000 रुपीज, राइट? आपने आपका एक इन्फ्लेशन, आपका एक लाइफस्टाइल का तड़का उसमें ऐड कर दिया, पार्ट ऐड कर दिया, तो समझो कि चलो मुझे 1 लाख रुपए लगेगा आज के दिन का, राइट? सो टुडे का जो कॉस्ट है वो समझो 1 लाख रुपीज है. सो यू विल डिसाइड कि ओके, आई नीड टू सी दैट आई हैव टू हैव दैट कॉर्पस विच कैन अलाउ मी टू विड्रॉ 1 लाख रुपीज व्हेन आई टर्न टू 55 years ओल्ड, राइट? और आज के घड़ी के, राइट? तो उतना फिर कॉर्पस जो होगा वो सस्टेनेबल होना चाहिए, क्योंकि इफ आई एम स्टार्टिंग टू विड्रॉ 1 लाख रुपीज इन टूडेज कॉस्ट, I also need to sustain it for next say 30 years. If you are saying कि मैं 85 years तक समझो, हमारी 85 to 90 years अगर हमने समझो हमारा लाइफ स्पैन पकड़ा, right? So I need to have a corpus which is going to sustain for next 30 to 35 years, right? So each 1 lakh of rupees is also going to have the inflation impacted, right? So you need to have that kitty ready. So what is the thumb rule? First decide that what could be the monthly withdrawal you want to do, right? Secondly, based on that, you need to see what should be my corpus. How the corpus is calculated, there are, as I said, there are some portals available, or you can contact people like us who can give you a proper calculation done based on that, whatever withdrawal you want to do, that how much is the kitty you need to have, right? So if you come to know that okay, I may be needing 7 crores or 10 crores for my retirement, for example, right? So if a person wants to have a 10 crore corpus, then he can call himself financially free. So in that case, you should do the back calculation that okay, what I need to do in my earning year so that I'm in a position to achieve that 10 crores of rupees, right? तो वो 10 crores rupees या corpus जमा करने के लिए, now when we do the back calculation, you may be knowing that okay, if I have 20 years a long period, you may need to invest say 80,000 rupees or maybe a lakh of rupees, just for example अगर हमने ये पकड़ा, based on definitely the asset allocation, right? That how much you want to invest in equity, how much you want to invest in debt, you want to invest in say gold, definitely it's a digital gold, right? Or us on that basis, then we are going to decide that what will be the portfolio return, and on that basis what will be the monthly investment required, right? So this is how we are going to calculate that okay, I need to invest say x amount per month so that I will be able to build that 10 crores of rupees which may be required for me to withdraw x amount. अभी जैसे लाइफ बढ़ती है, राइट, देर आर एन नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स हैपनिंग इन एंड अराउंड. जैसे आज हम समझो मारुति में, मारुति 800 में अभी तो वो नहीं मिलती, लेकिन मारुति के सबसे समझो लो जो वर्जन है उसमें सेटिस्फाइड है. फिर हमें लगता है नहीं मेरे पास एसयूवी होनी चाहिए, फिर लगता है कि नहीं मेरे पास बीएमडब्ल्यू नहीं हो तो कम से कम ऐसे हो जो एक A1 क्लास की गाड़ी लगे, राइट? सो दिस इज द इन्फ्लेशनरी और जो इम्पैक्ट आता है बिकॉज ऑफ लाइफस्टाइल, उसको भी हमें बीच बीच में फैक्टर इन करना होता है. दैट्स वाई एवरी 5 years to 10 years आपको रिकैलकुलेट करना होगा कि एज पर माई लाइफ स्टाइल वॉट वुड बी माई विड्रॉवल अमाउंट आई मे बी एमिंग एट, एंड फॉर दैट the corpus amount may get changed, right? Because of that you may be needing to invest more. Sometimes people go with a minimalistic way. मैंने ऐसे भी देखा है कि बहुत कारपोरेट में लोगों ने बहुत रिच लाइफ स्पेंड की. नाउ दे आर रियली don't want to have that. Really, they really want to go with a minimalistic way. They really want to do something different in their life. So in that case, your requirement of getting out or taking out money from retirement kitty goes down drastically, राइट. सो उसमें भी एक अलग सा एंगल होता है कि नाउ दे से दैट आई डोंट नीड दिस मच अमाउंट, राइट. सो ऐसा भी लाइफ में होता रहता है. सो यू नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट यू आर एडजस्टिंग टू दैट फिनोमिनन. But when you are starting something, you should know that what is the targeted amount I want to reach for that, and for that how much I need to invest. So now when you know the investment amount, then decide how much you want to invest in equity, how much you want to invest in debt. Sometimes debt तो हमारी EPF से ही पूरा हो जाता है, right? EPF, NPS, PPF, they are really a good product which one can have or which one can map to their retirement goal. And the जो बाकी बचा हुआ डेल्टा है, that definitely you can invest in good equity mutual funds to build your retirement corpus.
Yes, of course, like completely agreeing with your with your point, right? And this retirement planning again is very important, right? And we need to think about this because we have seen many people who reach this age of retirement closer towards 60, right? And struggle and they think about this point, यार हमने काश कुछ invest कर लिया होता पहले, so that at this point of retirement we had some money. Because again the thing is depending upon others is very bad, right? Sometimes we tend to feel that depending upon others is very bad, like even for small needs, to buy medicines, to go here and there, to get a tour, right? So having that corpus for retirement, which can sustain your lifestyle, again, also, of course, adjusted via inflation. So this inflation adjusted calculation is very crucial because आगे जाके तो महंगाई बढ़नी ही है. Inflation will rise sustainably. So we quote this number of 3 to 4%, but the real inflation, as we see, like is around 8 to 9%, right? So that is the thing, we need to take that into account and make a corpus for the purpose of retirement that can sustain a livelihood, our medical bills, we want to travel somewhere, XYZ things. So my last question to you is everyone in the world we see, be it anybody, they want to become rich. They want to have money, lots of money, right? अगर डॉलर नहीं तो सही से मतलब रुपए में ही कमा रहे हैं, right? But they want to earn that money, right? So one question that came from my audience, and I'm sure that many people have had asked you also in the past, can stock markets really make you rich?
करेक्ट. देखो, रिच वर्ड ए वेरी सब्जेक्टिव है, राइट. इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन कि रिच किसको कहा जाता है. मैंने एक आर्टिकल लिखा था इसमें. बहुत बार हम रिचनेस जो होती है ना, वो पैसों से जोड़ देते हैं. एक्चुअली रिच पीपल कौन हो सकते हैं? अ पर्सन हु इज गुड बाय देयर थॉट्स, राइट, हु इज हैविंग अ गुड डीड्स, हु हैव डन गुड डीड्स, राइट, हु आर एक्चुअली स्प्रेडिंग लव, हैप्पीनेस, राइट. लेकिन इस वैल्यूज को हम कभी भी कहते नहीं कि दैट पर्सन इज रिच विद दिस वैल्यूज. अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारे लाइफ में रिचनेस या प्रॉस्पेरिटी सिर्फ पैसों से जोड़ी जाती है. पैसा जिंदगी में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट, बट अनलेस एंड अनटिल यू आर अ गुड पर्सन, राइट, यू आर अ गुड वेल बीइंग or good human being, right, you, that money is not going to make you rich, right. So make sure that you have wealth, you have health, and you also have a good sense of manner, right, कि समाज में अगर आपको रहना है, ये तीनों चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है. तीसरी चीज, एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज ये है कि समझना कि व्हाट इज इनफ फॉर यू, राइट. बिकॉज सी, आप इलान मस्क के पास जो वेल्थ है या अंबानी जी के पास जो वेल्थ है, राइट, सब चाहते हैं कि हमारे पास हो, लेकिन उतनी सच में जरूरत है कि नहीं, ये भी देखना बहुत जरूरी होता है, राइट. अदरवाइज व्हाट हैपेंस, यू आर losing your peace of mind, you are losing your health towards that, right, you are using your losing your relationship with the pursuit, if you are in pursuit of wealth only. तो बहुत चीजों को देखना जरूरी है कि मेरे पास इनफ अगर हो गया which can take care of all my financial goals, right, whatever financial goals I may be having going forward in life, and I can have a good retirement life, तो वो इनफ ही आपका रिच पॉइंट है. ये बहुत समझ लेना बहुत जरूरी है. अदरवाइज दूसरों का देख के जलना या वो मेरे पास नहीं है इससे करना, लेकिन अगर आप इम्बेडेड ही नहीं है उतना स्पेंड करने के लिए, तो उतना वेल्थ क्रिएट करने के जर्नी में कितना आपने गवाया, ये भी देखना जरूरी है. ये मैंने इसलिए कहा कि अगर ये पहले से यंग लोगों को पता होगा ना, तो दे कैन प्रायोरिटाइज द थिंग्स विच दे फाइंड इन देयर लाइफ, राइट. Now, as far as the question is concerned, whether the share market can make you rich, the answer is yes, answer is no as well, right? Because it depends upon your temperament. Temperament is the most important things in the share market investing, right? You cannot, और उसके साथ दो important human emotions होते हैं, fear and greed, right? So ये तीन चीजों का अगर आपने अच्छे से मेल कर दिया तो डेफिनेटली शेयर मार्केट एक ऐसी चीज है या ऐसा आपका पिलर रहेगा। नॉर्मली एक कहावत या एक स्टोरी सबने सुनी होगी कि इन्वेस्टमेंट इज योर, समझो, इज योर थर्ड चाइल्ड। अगर आपको दो बच्चे हैं, राइट, और आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट चालू कर दी आप जब यंग हो तभी से, तो वो आपका तीसरे बच्चे जैसा ख्याल रख सकता है, राइट? So share market investment or investment in equity asset class along with investment in other asset classes can give you that kind of security going forward। ये अपना अपने बच्चे जैसा आपका ख्याल रखेगा। लेकिन इन सब जर्नी में तीन चीजों का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि what is your temperament, right? When the market is going down, are you getting panic attacks, right? Is the volatility of the market you are not able to digest? Or when the market is in bull run, are you making it is making you greedy, and because of that you are taking undue risk in the portfolio, going for the blind risk, and just बिकॉज ऑफ थोड़ा सा रिटर्न ज्यादा मिले, राइट? तो ये देखना बहुत जरूरी है। अगर आप ऐसे कर रहे होंगे तो शेयर मार्केट इतना बुरा सिखाने वाला नहीं है, लाइक लोगों की जिंदगी उजाड़ देता है। सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड that the wealth is being created in the share market only when you have a long term view। ये ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको कपल ऑफ इयर्स में कुछ बना देगी। अगर ये आपने पढ़ा होगा या आपको सोशल मीडिया पे दिखाते हैं तो एक मैं बताना चाहती हूँ कि whenever there is a one success story, there are hundred or thousands failures, और फेल स्टोरीज जो होती है वो कभी किसी को नहीं पता चलती। तो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड इफ somebody showing you the PNL statement, or somebody showing you कि इससे मैंने कार ले ली, इससे मैंने इतना बड़ा घर ले लिया, और वेरी शॉर्ट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, तो ये सच नहीं हो सकता, कुछ ना कुछ उसमें प्रॉब्लम है। लॉन्ग टर्म में डेफिनेटली, जैसे आपने कहा 20 साल में मैं घर को ले पाऊंगा क्या? डेफिनेटली ले पाएंगे, राइट? तो लॉन्गर टर्म व्यू रखिए शेयर मार्केट में। इन्वेस्टमेंट करते समय आपकी रिस्क टेकिंग एबिलिटी के अनुसार इन्वेस्टमेंट कीजिए। लॉन्ग टर्म में इन्वेस्टमेंट करना मतलब जब भी वोलेटिलिटी आती है, डोंट गेट disheartened, don't get panicked, make sure if your funds or if your stocks are fundamentally good, right? So even because of volatility, be there, right? Whenever this bearish trend chala jayega, the same stock or same funds will give you good returns going forward, right? Along with share market, you also have to have some investment in data asset class, because that investment will keep you going in the volatility। अदरवाइज पूरा पैसा डूब गया तो लोगों का जो मानसिक स्वास्थ्य होता है वो पूरा बिगड़ जाता है। लेकिन कुछ ना कुछ पैसे अगर हमारे डेट साइड में पड़े रहते हैं तो दैट सस्टेनेबिलिटी कैन गिव अस द स्ट्रेंथ टू गो विद दिस वोलेटिलिटी। तो शेयर मार्केट को पैसे बनाने के मशीन से देखना नहीं चाहिए, बिकॉज वन मोर थिंग आई रियली वांट टू गिव द इंसाइट टू द यंगस्टर, दैट पैसा पैसे को बनाता है, इसलिए आपको पैसा होना जरूरी है। जो पैसा आप मार्केट में डालेंगे या पैसा आप इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, वो पैसा कमाने के लिए ध्यान दीजिए। 1 रुपए पे 1 रुपया कमाना या 1 करोड़ पे 1 करोड़ रुपए कमाना, आप भी खुद समझो। जिसके पास 1 करोड़ होता है वो दूसरा 1 करोड़ बना सकता है। अगर आपने एक ही रुपया डाला तो एक ही रुपया बना पाएंगे। इसलिए इनिशियल कैपिटल जनरेट करने के लिए ध्यान देना जरूरी है। सो फोकस ऑन योर इनकम, और फोकस ऑन योर जॉब, फोकस ऑन द बिजनेस, फोकस ऑन वॉट एवर थिंग्स यू वॉन्ट टू टेक as a primary objective to earn something. Based on that, you will get the capital, and that capital can build you the wealth which you can create it. But sometimes we think that कि रिटर्न कितना मिलेगा, लेकिन सोचते नहीं कि मैंने कैपिटल कितना डाला है। तो रिटर्न 100% मिलने से अच्छा है रिटर्न मुझे 10% भी मिला, कि मेरा कैपिटल 90% अगर है तो आई एम नॉट टेकिंग एनी ब्लाइंड रिस्क इनटू दैट। सो मेक श्योर that your capital is bigger, for that you are working hard for your primary income, and then secondary, because return is not in our hand, but it will be icing on the cake when you have a good cake itself.
Definitely, definitely. And it takes us to our first question, right? That is understanding the market is very crucial,
Yes,
right? Understand markets, have knowledge about it, because again, the markets can be a creator, also the markets can be a destroyer,
true.
right? Because as per the recent study by SEBI, also we have seen that less than 1% people in trading, right? They tend to make money. 99.9891% people, they tend to lose their money in the stock markets.
And most people think that they are into that 1%.
Yeah, and that is the thing. Because whenever we ask anybody, they say, yeah, we are making consistent profit. अपना तो P&L इतना है, अपना तो ये है. Because many people nowadays have started to post on social media a P&L on day 1, on day 30, day 1, day 20, right? And that's P&L has risen by lakhs and lakhs and crores and crores. They aren't discussing about that R component, that T component, that invested principal component. They just want to lure people. They want people to join their Telegram groups and different platforms and get that short-term scheme and all. Maybe make some short money for a day or two, and after that, all their invested capital, it turns out to be zero or negative. And as we all popularly say, that time in the market is most important than timing the market,
True.
right? So if people are there in the market, they're understanding the market by taking into account all the risk appetite, XYZ situations around him or her, right? So he can clearly make that return in the market. So people just focus towards R, right? As you said clearly, the return component. But they have less focus towards the principal component, the amount that they are investing into markets, and more importantly, the T component that compounds your money. That's the basic formula of the compounding, P into 1 plus R to the power of T. So R पर ज्यादा फोकस है कि मार्केट कितना रिटर्न दे रही है, ये म्यूचुअल फंड कितना रिटर्न दे रहा है, इस कंपनी का म्यूचुअल फंड कितना रिटर्न दे रहा है, बीट स्मॉल कैप, मिड कैप, लार्ज कैप, मल्टी कैप. But they aren't focusing towards how much they're investing, how much potential they have to invest in the markets depending upon their income, right? Focusing towards skill set, getting more salary, a better job, and again for how much time they stay in the market, 10 years, 20 years. So there was a recent study being done by Motilal Oswal itself. They were saying that if you stay in the market for 10 years versus you stay in the market for 30 years, right? The difference in return is more than 9x, 9.3, 9.4x. So if you made some x in 10 years, that's 9.2x, 9.3x in the next 30 years. So time in the market is very crucial. So completely taking all your points on personal finance, on different aspects of financial planning, especially tax planning, insurance planning, and retirement planning. And I'm 100% sure that a newbie, like who might be at the age of 18 years, should be able to relate to all these points. A person who might have completed his graduation, MBA, CFA, CFS, CA, or like starting his job, again, that person will be able to relate because he might be going towards investment planning, insurance planning, tax planning. A person who might be like in early 30s or 40s, again, he might be able to relate to a points of retirement planning, right? Risk appetite and risk profiling, investment structures, portfolio asset management, right? And again, we tried to keep this session very simple for everybody, right? Because our aim is to make people understand the very basic, the roots, the crux, the fundamentals, नींव जो होती है. जब तक वो लोग वो नहीं समझेंगे, then आगे कैसे बढ़ेंगे, right? And it's not just a person who has so much experience in the markets like will know about such stuff. We have seen many people who are super experienced. They lack such financial concepts of like financial literacy and personal finance, right? So again, that is our aim. And it's time to conclude, I know. And I would really appreciate your time. Like you gave us a time to connect with us over this online podcast to discuss upon these topics. Being a too humble personality, because like to all our audience, like when we connected offline too, like try to like discuss about the podcast and different aspects. Again, she was, I would say, very easily available, right? Like we just got connected over social media via different work aspects, right? And she was so happy to connect with us to like discuss all these topics for the youth, or be it for any generation of any age. And again, like we as people also have too much curiosity to learn from people like you, right? Because not everyone is too humble, not everyone is too, I would say, agreeing to come over such kinds of discussions over a quick notice. Because I believe that the aim that drives our life is to make people financially literate, right? To know people, have knowledge about personal finance. And that's the overall aim of this channel too, right? So thank you so much for your time. It was
Okay.
a great pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.